Hello, everyone, and welcome to Perfect Practice. I'm really thrilled today because I get to have a conversation about things that are important to me, and I hope things that are important to you in all things related to keeping us healthy, keeping us vibrant, and also keeping our patients healthy and vibrant as well. So today I have a very special guest, Wendy Myers. Wendy Myers is going to be sharing with us a very special tool that she has helped develop and is a tool that I've been using actually. So here's my tool. We're going to talk all about this little device, this little piece of technology today. And we're going to discuss how it can help you getting into a more parasympathetic state, into a state of healing, repair, regeneration, and restoration, which is something that we all need. And with all of us spending more time on technology, more time in our homes, more time bathed in dirty electrical fields and electromagnetic fields, this is even more relevant. So welcome, Wendy. Thanks for being here today.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
Well, it's such an honor and such a pleasure. You know, the last time I saw you in person was at Genius Network. So it's been a couple of years, and I love keeping up to date with things that are going on in your life. What's new in your life for all of our listeners?
Well, I just moved to Mexico. I just kind of wanted to get away from all the nuttiness that's going on. So I decided to move across the country down south to Mexico.
Well, congratulations. Looks like you've got a beautiful background there. Is that... Describe what's going on back there. It looks like a lot of greenery.
Yeah, so this is my tree that's full of bats. And I live in Playa del Carmen, about an hour south of Cancun, and there's a golf course behind me. And I live about 5 minutes from the gorgeous warm ocean here. And there's lots of animals that kind of live in the jungle. There's tons of all kinds of wild animals and birds. It's really, really relaxing, really serene.
Well, not all of us can move, right? Some of us are grounded exactly where we are, and it's hard to escape the vortex that we might be in. So congratulations on taking that step and that initiative. I know that it's never easy, but I'm so glad you're happy. I'm so glad you found kind of the dream spot to live in, and I'm waiting for the day I can come visit you. So
yeah, yeah, and it's amazing that there is a lot of collective fear going on right now, and it can be very, very stressful. But there's a lot of different techniques that I use that we're going to talk about today to deal with stress. And there's a lot of different ways you can approach that. But for me, I've just had to find different tools to reduce my stress levels. When I tried a lot of kind of typical things to reduce stress that I would try and wouldn't totally work, or I'd have to do them over and over and over every day. So I just, for my whole life or my career as a health coach, really tried to find different tools to help me manage stress. So we're going to talk about some today.
Awesome. So what's the biggest thing you've noticed since moving there? Anything specific that sticks out to you?
Definitely, I just feel a lot more relaxed. Like for me, the energy here, the Tulum, which is just south of me, is a big energy vortex. Yep. And so I'm very sensitive to that and sensitive to energy. So for me, I just felt this tremendous stress reduction as soon as I moved here.
Awesome. Now, this is a feeling that people, as we were discussing before we started recording, this is kind of a feeling that people describe when they start using the Harmony Pendant, which is what we're going to be talking about today. So tell us a little bit more about where this story starts with the pendant.
Yeah, so the Harmony Pendant is a business that I'm involved in. I had a very profound experience with Robert Marking, who developed the Harmony Pendant. And I met him at a bioenergetic training for Ness Health. It's a bioenergetic program. And I was very stressed at the time. I had just gotten divorced. I was, wasn't getting any more child support. My business was struggling, and I had broken up with my business partner, and there was problems there, and I was living in a moldy home, just stress on every level. I felt like crap. And wasn't sleeping good. Woke up feeling like I was hit by a truck every morning. It was not a good time in my life. So I met Robert Marking at this Ness Health training. He put this pendant on me and he activated it. And I literally felt high for about 4 days. It completely recalibrated my body's energy field. So we all have an energy field. And in this energy field in our body is where the majority of our communication takes place. And this energy field, you can get energetic blocks in it from emotional trauma, from heavy metals, from chemicals, from abuse in the past, and from EMFs, electromagnetic fields or frequencies. These are non-native frequencies that dramatically impact our body's energy field and our ability to communicate. And so for me, the pendant optimized my energy field. Everything was regulating, communicating better, and I felt tremendously better. My brain fog cleared up. As soon as I put the pendant on, I started yawning. I felt tremendously more relaxed. I slept better than I had in a really long time. It wasn't that night, but the second night, I felt much more relaxed. It takes, once you do correct your energy field, it takes a few days, 3 or 4 days for your biochemistry to get those messages and then follow through and correct and regulate, so to speak. I had a pain on my right hip that completely disappeared that I'd had for a couple of years. And I just felt this like happiness, this clarity that I hadn't felt in a really long time. It was very profound for me. I'm very sensitive to energy. Not everyone's going to have that experience with the pendant. Some people aren't really in touch with their bodies, like if they've had a lot of abuse in their past or they have a lot of emotional trauma, stuff that they haven't worked on. Some people just are not as sensitive or they can't feel their bodies so much. So some people might not feel changes, even though they are happening, because we can track this. We did a study measuring HRV or heart rate variability and measured about 30 other variables in this HRV software that was used in the study. And the doctors, there's about 8 doctors that conducted the study. And many of them said that even though if someone can't feel anything, they still had improvements on their HRV and other variables in the study.
I love that. So going back to people being out of tune, right? And there's multiple layers to our body. There's the physical layer, there's a spiritual layer, there's an electrical body that we have as well. What in the work that you've done, have you come across if there's a particular reason why people are more tuned in or more tuned out of certain aspects of themselves?
Yeah, well, I think you have to have awareness of your energy field. For me, I didn't really have awareness of that until maybe 5 years ago when I was introduced to bioenergetics. As you know, I was like many people, just focusing on the physical body. Mm-hmm. What supplements do I need? What diet do I need? What lifestyle, exercise? And most people were working on that physical plane. But over time, I really began learning about bioenergetics, you really have to tend to that energy level, the spiritual level, the magnetism in your body, the grounding, and the physical body. And if you miss any of those parts, those 4 kind of important ways your body works, it can really throw a wrench in your recovery or your healing. And so in working with the pendant, I think it's a really easy way to ground your body to the magnetism, so your body's polarity works is correct in clearing your body's energy field, and in doing that, it helps your body physically regulate better. And like I mentioned before, some people just are more in touch with their body than others. Some people are more sensitive to energy than others. Some people are more sensitive to EMFs than others. And that has to do with genetics. Genetics play a role in how sensitive some people are to EMF. Trauma plays a role, and people's health status plays a role as well.
Okay, great. Now, one of the things when I got the packaging, this beautiful box, by the way, and I opened it up and I see this beautiful pendant in here. And my mind is very analytical, so I'm looking at it from every angle and trying to make sense of it all. There's a beautiful pattern. I hope it comes through. And then there's 4 holes. So tell us a little bit more about why this specific shape or why these specific patterns were chosen.
Yes. So the developer, Robert Marking, was very, very ill for about 20 years. He was just tried to figure out everything to heal his health. And he found a medical doctor that was using a similar type of pendant in helping to regulate his energy field. And he said after he met with this doctor and had this session with him, he was markedly better. He was really blown away by it. And he spent the next 10 years learning from this doctor, learning how to read frequencies and just, taking in everything he could from this doctor. And he just developed this pendant. He just, I guess, had a direct download, if you will, or an insight into the pattern, like the whole shape and the sizes and the location to each other, and started using this with himself and people he was working with, and just tried to like figure it all out, this whole puzzle. And now he's worked with, tens of thousands of people over the last 15 years since he developed it. And so this is kind of the culmination of that. And so I know a lot of people look at this and they're like, really, 4 holes in a piece of stainless steel. And I definitely had that same reaction too, that like, you have to be kidding me. But when you understand, I'm going to explain how the pendant works in a scientific way.
Yes.
So,
please.
yeah. So how it works essentially is first I want to explain the concept of the body's energy field. So I mentioned that earlier. We have an energy field, and information can be communicated to our body's energy field on energy waves. And so you can think of it insofar as like radio waves. There's information that's delivered on energy waves, okay? And these energy waves oscillate. They kind of go up and down, and there's information on them. Think of radio waves. So when you tune into there's information on radio waves. And when you tune in a certain frequency, like 98.6, you can hear the information that is delivered on those radio waves. The same exact thing happens in your body. So when you have, there's all kinds of different, like homeopathy, or there's, just so many different ways to work with energy in your body. So many different devices today send information to your body on energy waves. There's a Healy, there's a My Health, there's AO scans, and there's so many different devices out there. And so they are sending correct information or corrective information, healing messages, what have you, to your body on energy waves. And so what is it that brings about those energy waves? So it's geometry. Geometry will change the oscillation and information on an energy wave. So the pendant has a certain geometrical pattern. You can call it sacred geometry. That just means ancient. And so this specific pattern communicates and resonates to all the cells in your body to operate in a different way. And so what this geometry is doing is creating an energy wave that is changing the electron spin in your cells, essentially. And it's a resonance that is picked up by all of the cells. And it's kind of like a master energy wave that's communicating to all of your cells, and it grounds your body. It essentially helps your body's cells to work better, and it clears your energy field. It kind of resets or recalibrates your energy field, and so that your body just regulates better. It works more efficiently, and in doing that, it dramatically reduces your stress levels. And we can measure this with HRV technology, and we can see this. Within 5 minutes. Within 5 minutes, we tested 101 different patients with 8 different doctors in the study that I'll review in a second. We'll review those results. But we had 8 different doctors, about 15 patients each. All report the majority of their patients had dramatic improvements in their HRV within 5 minutes of activating their pendant. And this is while being exposed to an EMF source.
Yeah. And for most of the people who are watching this, probably going to know what HRV is, but if you can give us some context, I think that would help those that are not using that currently, which I encourage all of us to do. Like, HRV is one of my favorite metrics. It's very non-invasive, and it's very good at articulating noise in the body, if you will, right? Like, this isn't going to fix, like, if you've got a crummy relationship at work, this isn't going to fix that, right? It might allow you to handle that a little bit better. So I don't want to give people permission to not address the things that they need to. But for those of you that are working on these things, that do have, sometimes it might just be that it's not coming together. You're doing your best and it's just not coming together. And it could be because of this electrical field that's got this disruptive pattern in it.
Yeah, exactly. So the heart rate variability it's a measurement that's used in studies in Harvard, and it's a great way to kind of measure if what you're doing is working. So I have an Aura ring just like you do, and I'll track it. Does CBD help relax me? Do Epsom salt baths help relax me? And all the doctors in the study will use HRV testing to see if different modalities and different vagus nerve stimulators or what have you are working. And so they used a pendant, used the Harmony Pendant and tested, baseline, tested with an EMF stimulus, and saw all their HRV tank and a lot of other different variables, meridian, chakras, other things, and then activated a pendant and then measured the HRV again, and everything improved, even over and above the baseline, the testing. But the heart rate variability is kind of the measure of the amount of space between a heart rate, your heartbeat, so to speak. Mm-hmm. So the longer that pause, the less stressed you are. And the faster your heartbeat, the shorter that space is going to be in between heartbeats. So the shorter the higher the HRV, the more stressed you are because your heartbeat is beating a lot faster, like you have when you have adrenaline or too much cortisol or what have you. So HRV is a great way to measure if what you're doing is working and helping to relax you.
Okay, yeah, it's a great measure. And, we use the Aura Ring, as you mentioned. We also use HeartMath as an active tool to help people really tune in and tap in. So it's a great measurement to know if somebody's moving into a more parasympathetic state, which is the state of healing and repair. And that's really the state of all possibilities, right? I think when we think about somebody's healing journey, and I know for you as a health coach, if they're not parasympathetic, they're not going to heal. Yeah. And, getting parasympathetic could be a variety of things, right? We gotta work on the electrical body. We got to work on the emotional body. We got to work on the spiritual body. We got to work on, of course, the physical body as well. So we got to eat right and move right and do all those other things. What were some of the things that the people reported? So besides HRV, what are some of the things that were reported in the study?
Yeah, so I want to just touch on one thing. Sure. That you mentioned, that people, they have to be in a parasympathetic state to heal and to get better. And for me, I focus on heavy metal detoxification, and people can't detox if they're in a stressed out state. So for me, and a lot of people, they do a lot of things to reduce stress and it doesn't work on a permanent basis, or they just don't know how to get out of a stress state. And I think so many people are stressed today because of EMFs. That's a big contributing factor to people not sleeping, it messes with their brain waves. They have anxiety and depression. They don't understand why. They go to the doctor and try to get medications, and people just don't understand why they don't feel well today. And EMFs have been increasing in our environment dramatically. Like right now, Elon Musk, Amazon, Bill Gates, through funding of a company called SoftBank, and OneWeb, which is a UK-based company, are slated to release 100,000 5G satellites in the next few years to blanket the planet in 5G frequencies, so that people anywhere in the world can get good cell phone reception. There's a lot of countries have the infrastructure or funding to put up 5G towers every 5 houses. So this is something that's coming. People need to have some awareness around this, and awareness around how EMFs are affecting their bodies. And it causes insomnia, anxiety, depression, brain fog. The research shows it promotes infertility, tumors, triple negative cancers, just a lot of different health issues. People can have like memory loss, disruptions in brain glucose metabolism, which is linked to Alzheimer's disease. They can have thyroid dysfunction. They can have rupturing of their brain cells, leading to calcium ion leakage, resulting in slower brain reaction times. People can have increased permeability of the blood-brain barrier. Just lots of different issues resulting from that cascade domino effect. And when so many people are in this stress state, they can't get better. And so what I like about the Harmony Pendant is it very quickly gets them into this parasympathetic state, and they can stay in that parasympathetic state very easily just wearing this pendant. And in doing that, it potentiates other therapies that they're doing. Their stress is reduced, they absorb their food and their nutrients better, they're able to sleep better, they feel less stress, they have less anxiety, and there's just so many cumulative benefits because of that. So let me go over the research study here that we did. So, this is on harmonypendant.com if you guys want to check it out. And so we did this study with 8 doctors with 101 patients total. And so what we did was we did a baseline HRV. Then we introduced a high EMF source. It was this portable fan that put off this ungodly amount of EMF, which is perfect to use. And then we did another HRV test after activation of the Harmony Pendant while still exposed to the EMF source. And what we found was that the heart rate variability index, which is a measure of stress, improved by 700% on average. That it reduced some of the effects of stress induced by EMF on average by 48%. So it's not 100% protection from EMF. I think very, very few things are, but it does have some protection from EMF. And what I like about it is because it goes with you everywhere that you go. So a lot of people created this cocoon in their home, or they have like a bed canopy or the earthing sheets or whatever they have in their home to protect from EMF. But when you're walking around or going to your office to work, it goes with you everywhere you go. So that's great.
Well, I love that, it reduced the EMF by, 40 or so percent, but that had a 700% increased effect on HRV. So even cutting it in less than half, exponentially increased our healing capacity.
Exactly. And so, I think that if we had designed the study a little bit better, so if we had maybe waited 30 minutes or 2 hours after doing the last HRV, we might have probably even seen better results. This is after 5 minutes of activating the pendant. So I think if we waited even a couple of days to test again, we would have seen even more dramatic improvements, in my opinion. In the study, we also significantly increased energy reserves and mitochondrial power on average by 530%. We increased total energy beyond the baseline before introduction of the EMF stressor. We lowered the biological age by 2 years. And markers of overall health were improved by 138%. We enhanced the body's biophoton field used by the mitochondria to produce energy that improved on average by 140%. We also improved the body's psycho-emotional state, like the brain's optimal function and net change in function and ability to handle stress on average by 100%. And we also reduced energy output, dipping into the negative, and enhanced it on average by 80%. We also enhanced the body's autonomic regulation of the body on average by 310%, and improved the body's biorhythms, like the circadian rhythms, by 160% on average. So pretty impressive for a little pendant. And we have another white paper we just wrote that'll be on the website soon, showing that it improved the chakra energy flow and meridian energy flow substantially. Some of the meridians improved by 2,000% in their energy flow.
Wow. What's your favorite testimonial? You have one besides yours, of course.
Yes. So probably my favorite one is we had someone that came to a couple of conferences that I was at. It was the Paleo Effects Conference, and the guy was a karate champion, and he had so many injuries. He was in chronic pain all the time. And after we harmonized him with the pendant or activated his pendant, he came back the next day and he said his pain levels were at a 2, where the day before they were at a 10.
Wow.
And I experienced this also when I had hip pain. My hip was just always really tight. I also had that experience of pain reduction. We've had a lot of different people say that they've had reduction in pain, and lots of people say improvement in their sleep, their ability to sleep. They just feel a lot less stressed. We had Robin Oppenshaw, who's a big expert on EMF. She said she felt markedly less stress wearing the pendant. We've had Dr. David Jockers. He also loves the pendant. He felt like he was less stressed as well. Just a lot of different people in our space. I've been trying to get the pendant out to people because I just think it has a tremendous capacity to help people, and it's a very, very simple to implement and wear. So I'm very honored that people are open to it, open to trying the pendant.
Well, in full transparency, I've been wearing mine for the last couple of weeks, probably been about 3 or 4 weeks now. And I made the mistake because I have another pendant, as we were discussing before we called. I have another pendant that I've been wearing for quite some time. So I've been wearing both of them. Now, I have noticed that my numbers on my HRV and my Aura ring are looking pretty good. And so I'm going to do my weekly reharmonization, not wear anything else. So there's no interference. And I'll definitely report back to you to see how that makes a difference. And the reason I bring that up is because I know many of us are doing a lot of other things, right? Like this is, I'm mouth taping at night and using breathing strips and all kinds of other things that we might be doing. And so I'm going to try to be as scientific as possible with this process, and I'll report back to you to let you know how that goes, because I was wearing it incorrectly. And many of us might be doing other things that could be interfering with the potential of the pendant. So tell us about that too, because I think that's important, especially when you wear a piece of jewelry, to know that it could be something else throwing your energy field off too.
Yes. Yeah. And here's the thing. If someone is really, really healthy, like yourself, or like Dr. Mercola, he also wears the Harmony Pendant also. Someone like that there's only going to have a marginal improvement, where they're going to maybe, have a couple % improvement, say for instance. So someone like you may not feel the improvements as much as someone who is chronically ill, chronically fatigued, bedridden, or very, very ill otherwise. They have a lot more improvement to go. And a lot more, kind of interference in their body's energy field. And so that can account for it. But I think like your case, I think you were wearing a pendant that I'm aware of interferes in the working of the pendant. Because, the 4 holes, they need to be able to, like this icon needs to be facing out away from the body. You need to be wearing it without anything else around your neck. Like another necklace is fine. That's something that's not going to be affecting your energy field. Some random piece of jewelry is fine. And then you have to activate the pendant. So you have to kind of like tune it to your body's energy field. You have to send this information to the body's energy field. So you need to hold it about, take it off. You hold it, and there's a video. If you get a pendant, there's a little card inside. It sends you to a video on how to do this activation process. So you hold it about 12 inches from your sternum. And then I do mine a little bit to the left. And I say, I think intention thoughts are incredibly powerful. I know they are. So I always say a little bit of intention, like I command this Harmony Pendant to optimize my body's energy field and clear emotional trauma and negative emotions from my energy field. That's what I personally do. And you hold it there for 2 minutes. And that's it. And it dramatically, it clears your energy field. And then you want to repeat that process every week. And the reason you need to do that is because things knock you out. Like if you eat a food that you're sensitive to, if you get blasted by EMF, if you have a fight with your partner, any of these things can negatively impact the functioning of your body's energy field. And you have to recalibrate. You have to re-clear it. You have to reharmonize or reactivate the pendant every week to get the optimum function out of the pendant. If you don't do that, it's not the end of the world. I definitely have gone a month or so without, activating it again. And when I do that, I feel really good that day because I was, kind of out of whack, so to speak. But that's kind of, the where and why of, why you need to activate the pendant and do it on a regular basis.
Cool. Have you ever done Kirlian photography
Yes.
with the pendant?
Yes, we have actually. There's also different ways to measure the biophoton field. There's I think it's called a GDV camera or GRV. I forget the exact synonym or the acronym for it. But we can actually measure that before the pendant, people's biophoton field is kind of so, and then after they activate the pendant, the biophoton field completely lights up. So we do show that it dramatically improves people's biophoton fields, and the biophotons are part of the way the mitochondria work. They absorb light from the sun to charge up the energy field. So the biophoton field is just regulating better and working better to take the energy from the sun and convert it into energy. So the pendant assists with that.
Beautiful. So tell us a little bit more about how people can get a hold of a pendant, what that process looks like. And then I know you stand behind this product 100%. So I'd love to share a little bit more about that too.
Yes, well, people can click the link below the video. That'll be just easier to take them to a page where they can learn more about it. They can read the study, and there's really no risk at all. We stand by this product 100%. If at any time you decide it's not working, you don't feel anything, you're not into it, whatever, it's 100% money back guarantee. So for me, if it's not resonating with someone, I'm happy. They're not happy, I'm more than happy to give them their money back. So there really is no risk. There's only upside and benefit to wearing a pendant like this, and it couldn't be easier. And it was designed by a celebrity jewelry designer, the guy who developed this and redesigned it. He designs jewelry for like Jason Momoa of Game of Thrones and Aquaman and Mary J. Blige and Beyonce and all kinds of other people. So it's really beautiful pendant. But for me, I love functional jewelry. I love wearing something that I know is helping me reduce stress. And I think right now that is really tantamount, because I think people don't realize how much stress they're under and how stressed they are until they try a pendant like this or do any other stress reduction mechanisms. I think people don't realize how much stress they're under right now and how much this collective fear from everything that's going on with the pandemic and the government kind of reaction to it. And this, for me, the potential of a mandatory vaccine was very terrifying for me. And prompted me to move to Mexico. But before that, I was, looking for things like this to help me to manage my stress.
Well, I love this. And I want to thank you so much for sharing, taking time out of your precious day to inform us and educate us and all the great work that you're continuing to do in the world. I'm excited to get recalibrated and retuned, and it is a beautiful piece of jewelry. We kind of walk through like, what's the best case scenario? Best case scenario is you have a remarkable shift in your health. Even a 5% shift in your health is worth it to me, right? I'm sure it's worth it to everyone else listening, but you can see from the study that people had dramatic shifts in one of the most important markers of their overall health, which is HRV. And then the absolute worst case scenario is that you have a beautiful piece of jewelry, right? That's designed by, a celebrity jeweler. And then if it doesn't work, then you always have that money back guarantee. So I encourage everyone listening to this, this is a great holiday gift for each and every one of us. And, to think about our staff members, other people that we deeply care about, we're all being invisibly bombarded, and our electrical field is being compromised. And that could lead to people being not the best version of themselves. Sometimes, if you're in a relationship or you're in a friendship or you've got a co-working situation and that person just seems off, it could be their electrical field, right? It affects us in so many ways and shifts us into a sympathetic dominant state where we're not who we were meant to be, right? Where people are being pushed into this state of survival. So anything that can lean them in the direction of being more parasympathetic is gets my stamp of approval for sure. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me. And yeah, I feel like, you know, a gift like the Harmony Pendant, you can't give a better gift than the gift of health. And it does make a really, really good gift because it's in a really cute, really like nice, fashionable white box. It's really nice packaging. I know I developed it. So I think it looks really nice. But yeah, it's a great gift, and they come in silver or like stainless steel. It's you know, surgical stainless steel. It has no nickel in it that can cause allergies, and or it can come in 18 karat gold plated. And we have discounts also for if you buy 2 pendants or 4 pendants, you can get like over 60% off if you get 4 pendants, like if you want to get them for your family and friends for Christmas. So yeah, but like I said, it's no lose. You get 100% money back guarantee if you're not happy for any reason.
Amazing. Thank you, Wendy.
Yeah,
Have an
thanks for
amazing
having
day.
me.
Yeah, my absolute pleasure. Talk to you soon.